What if I told you that your athletic career actually gave you a networking superpower that people spend decades trying to develop? Former athletes actually have built-in networking advantages that they don't even realize. Today, we're going to learn how to identify, activate, and leverage your athletic network. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Now What podcast. I am your host, Sierra Stout. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. It will really help this content out, so I appreciate you doing that. But today we are talking about the hidden advantage that athletes have when networking in the business world. I think former athletes are actually natural networkers without even knowing it. And here's why. One, you have a trust factor about you. Athletic background actually creates instant credibility and trust. Two, you have shared experiences of discipline, teamwork, and resilience. Number three, athletes actually speak the same language. So if you're in an interview or you're in a process of trying to get hired for a job and a decision maker hears you making a reference to sports terms and how that's relevant in the business world, well, you probably have a leg up on some people. And number four, people actually respect the dedication that it took to be a college athlete. I think there's this automatic assumption of work ethic and commitment because you had to have that to be successful with where you were. So with all that being said, you have a leg up on people. You have an advantage. You have an edge to you that you can utilize. And today we're going to unpack how you can do it, how you can find your hidden network that's lying dormant right now, and then utilize it in the business world. All right, so your networking circle is actually bigger than you think. And if you're like, no, you really don't understand. I don't have a networking circle. Give me a couple minutes and I'm going to change your mind. So number one, you have coaches. Think about from when you were little, even playing t-ball when you were 5 years old, or your middle school basketball coach, whatever it was. Think about the amount of coaches you've had growing up and think, those coaches know other coaches. Those coaches know athletic directors. They also know alumni. Think about it. The coaches that you've had growing up, they also have connections that you could utilize for business opportunities. Not that you're using them, but finding ways to reconnect with people who've been in your life or been in your circle to get your foot in the door. Believe it or not, coaches also have second careers too. They've probably been in business in some sort. So ask them questions, pick their brain, figure out ways that they've become successful in their life. It's always good to find people who are a couple seasons ahead of you and then ask them questions so that you don't make the same mistakes that they did. Number two, there's a teammate web. Think about the amount of teammates that you have had growing up, or think about the people who were on the same team that you joined, but 10 years prior. These people are scattered across the country in different industries and companies that may be of interest to you. And you can have conversations. You connect from your athletic point and then move forward and say, hey, how did you become so successful in blank? And then have the conversation. You'd be amazed by how many people are willing to just share knowledge if they're asked. Just think about it. If you have a teammate or a teammate of a teammate who is actually working in your dream job, utilize those connections, utilize the skills, utilize the conversation, not to make it about yourself, but to share the athletic stigma to be able to connect with them. And who knows, maybe they'll help you open a door that you didn't think could be opened in the first place. Number three, there is a huge alumni network. I actually didn't know much about this until I did a deep dive for this episode, but college athletic alumni networks are actually tight-knit communities. Shocker. That's kind of what we're trying to create here. We're trying to create a community of people who walked through a similar season of life in the athletic world and have us come together and help each other out. You'd be amazed by how many former athletes are actually prioritizing helping other athletes because they get it. They understand your work ethic. They understand the commitment. They understand the leadership skills that you've attained through the years to get to where you got, to have the success that you had, knowing that it'll give you a leg up in the business world. Number four, the parent network. Think about the amount of parents from the teammates that you've had growing up. Again, back to the t-ball days, whatever it looks like, but parents of teammates often hold influential positions. So I'd encourage you, go back through the list of your old teammates, figure out what their parents do, and maybe reach out, have a conversation. We can even craft an appropriate message to send forward to a large sum of people and try to get your foot in the door by having these conversations. And number five, there's a competitive connection. But think about it. The people that you competed against and competed against you, you respect each other's abilities. You understand what it took to be great, and if they were in an opportunity that maybe you were seeking, of course they would be willing to sit down with you and talk. They respect who you are, they respect your character, and odds are they're willing to have a conversation with you in a setting outside of sports. So that took just a couple minutes, but did I change your mind? Did I help you realize that you actually have a hidden network of people that's just lying dormant? So we need to figure out, how are we going to activate this dormant network? Well, the first thing we can do is almost have our own social media audit. Go through your social media connections and strategically find and pick out people that may be worth connecting with. You can do a deep dive on their LinkedIn profiles and figure out, what are they doing? How long have they been doing it? You can see what fields of work they've been in. And if you see that they're higher up, maybe even a CEO of a company, have the conversation with them. Utilize these opportunities to get your foot in the door, share your experiences with them, and then learn how they leverage their experiences to get to where they're at now. The next thing we can do is something that I actually didn't know exists, and that is an alumni directory deep dive. So most colleges actually have searchable alumni directories. Did you know that? I did not, but you can filter through athletic involvement. And you can look through your industry of interest and see which people align with both of those things. So they were an athlete, yes, so you can relate on that. And then they're in an industry of interest that you're looking to get into. What a perfect opportunity to reach out, have your connecting point of the same school, the same sports team, whatever that is, and then have the conversation. You'd be surprised, again, by the amount of people that are willing to just pick up the phone, have a chat, go grab a cup of coffee, because they're willing to help former athletes like you and I. So the next thing that we can do is show up for athletic department events. This might seem really weird, but think about the amount of events that athletic departments hold and have that bring alumni back together, not only for a fundraising sense for them, but also for connection and community. You never know who you're going to reconnect with, who's at a different season now, that could help you to where you want to go. Okay, so the next one might be one of my favorites, but it's the giving back approach. All right, so you can volunteer to help current athletes with career advice. Maybe just you showing up into the room and helping give back to people who are a couple seasons behind you would be a blessing. Nonetheless, you never know who will be in the room that can help you down the road. So serving. I think a lot of times when we put our own self aside and we can go and give back to a community that impacted us in our season of life, it actually will open up more doors for us than we think. So I know in the past couple minutes, I've convinced you that you actually do have a dormant network, and then we talked about how you could activate it. But from here, what can we practically do to move forward when we get in the room for these interviews and we need to find a way to utilize our athletic experience to give us an advantage in the workplace, right? So one thing that we can do is naturally weave our athletic experience into interview answers. I know that for myself, when I was going through an interview process when I was done competing in sports, and it really was my first big girl job after my sport was my job for so long, I know that they talked about, hey, what type of experience do you have? This is what we're looking for, etc. And I remember being very transparent and saying something along the lines of, I know that you're looking for experience in this way. I don't have that, but I do have experience in team building, leadership, work ethic, time management, etc. And I was able to share a brief story about how I utilize those skills in the athletic place and how I believe that that gives me an advantage for them in their company. And I actually got a really cool response from that. I didn't make it about me in the moment when I shared, but I utilized the story and those skill sets to be like, you may be looking for this, but I actually can offer you it, and here's why. So you never know how your athletic story can actually help you seal the deal. Another thing that you can do is that when you're at networking events, which if you haven't been to some, I highly encourage you to get out of your bubble, get out of your comfort zone, and show up to networking events. If you go on Google right now in the area of which you live in, and you're like, closest networking events in this area, it will come up with so many options that you can just show up to. But here's what you can do. You can use your sport as an icebreaker and a conversation starter. You'd be surprised by the amount of people that have an automatic connection, especially with men. I know that as being a female and showing up to a networking event and being able to share an athletic experience, a lot of the times men find that impressive. And so it's an easier way to connect, relate with them, and then be able to move forward professionally. My last piece of advice for this specific section that we're currently talking on is utilizing LinkedIn. I had one of my closest friends ask me, I think about 2 years ago now, and she was like, are you on LinkedIn? Are you building? Are you connecting? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, like that's so weird. That's so outdated. Nobody uses LinkedIn. Like, what are you, a grandma? And she's like, no, like, you're definitely wrong. This is something that people are using and it actually can help you in the professional space. So I watched her go and connect and just reach out, get on the phone with people, show up to coffee with people. And it was crazy the doors that it was opening for her. And I was like, okay, maybe I should use this. So I started doing the same thing. I began to build my profile. I began to reach out to people and connect with people in spaces that I was currently in professionally and also spaces that I could see myself wanting to be in professionally someday. And over time, I had a lot of connections, and it's crazy now how that has opened doors for business opportunities and just local connections. I've had quite a few people reach out and notice that on my little LinkedIn profile that I've played a college sport and I've been asked about it, and nonetheless it's had some really natural conversation starter. Again, it's kind of like an icebreaker in a networking event, but online. And I ended up meeting and being in the room with people that I never thought I'd be in the room with, just because of the fact that I was a collegiate athlete, and that's really cool. So I just want to encourage you to go create a LinkedIn profile if you don't already have one, or if you have one and that's dormant too, go revive it, go give it some life, put your skill sets out there, not to make it about you, but you never know who that'll attract. With that, I need to talk about a couple common mistakes that you need to avoid. One, don't be the glory days person. Again, don't make this about yourself. Keep your sports stories brief and then tie it back professionally. If you make it about you, people will think that you're full of yourself, and quite frankly, nobody cares about what you did. Not in a rude way, but it's true. People want to connect personally and not have it be like, oh, look at me, look at my glory days. Like, no. So be aware of that, and don't assume that when you connect with people because you're coming from this space of athletics that you're going to have automatic help. You still have to intentionally build relationships, and you can't expect things to just be handed to you. We've always had to work hard for our things, so don't stop now. You have to be intentional. And number 3, don't neglect the relational maintenance that needs to take place. Still reach out, still pick up the phone and have the calls. And even when people help you, make sure that you follow up with them. Don't let it be a one and done deal and I move on. Allow that opportunity to build a deeper connection with them instead of just, thanks for your help, see you later, bye. That can end up hurting you in the long run. But I just wanted to give a little heads up on those few things because we need to be consciously avoiding them at all costs. So before we close here on this episode, I want to share this really cool story with you, and hopefully it'll be a form of inspiration and hope that your athletic career and network is actually in your favor. So one of my closest friends was connecting on LinkedIn, doing the things, and we had played college golf together, and then she ended up going into coaching for a couple years until she realized, I really need to get out of this. This is my comfort zone, and I want to do something else with my life that's outside of sports. And so she started exploring different career opportunities and found some things of interest. With that, she was being intentional about calling people, connecting with them, etc. Until one day, somebody found her on LinkedIn and sent her a message to hop on a phone call. And during that phone call, that boss was actually like, hey, I see that you played college golf. I used to babysit this girl who now plays college golf. I saw all of the time and effort. I saw her work ethic. I saw her discipline and all of the things. And I just want to say that's really impressive, and that those are qualities that we're looking for our culture and our company. So they ended up having an interview, and fast forward, she got hired. And so know your athletic experience doesn't go to waste. You can actually utilize it to your advantage. And once we learn to do that, you'd be surprised by the amount of people and the amount of opportunities that will come your way. So don't sleep on it. You actually have something from your athletic career that gives you this networking superpower to go and find more opportunities than most people naturally would. You'd be surprised at how one athletic connection can actually lead to multiple opportunities. So if you've had a story like this, please share it down in the comments. I think it's awesome to see how your athletic career actually gave you a ledge up on people in the business world, and how that really helped you get hired, or things that you did well to put yourself in a position to be successful in business. But I want to give you a challenge here, some actionable takeaways. And this week, I want you to make a list of 20 people from your athletic past. I don't care if that's coaches. I don't care if that's teammates. I don't care if it's parents to your teammates. Whatever it is, make a list of 20 people. Then next week, I want you to reach out to 5 of those people with a personalized message. If you need help crafting that, feel free to send me a DM. You can find our Instagram in the show notes below, but send us a DM over there and I'll be happy to look over that personalized message with you. Then this month, I want you to attend one athletic related event or volunteer somewhere. You'd be surprised by how just getting yourself in the room can open up doors of opportunity. And lastly, this is something that's ongoing, but I want you to set a reminder to check in with your network quarterly. So this week, make a list of 20 people. Next week, reach out to 5 of them. This month, attend one athletic related event or volunteer opportunity. And something that's ongoing is continue to reach out and connect with your network. Your athletic career surprisingly did not end when you hung up your jersey or you played your last game. It surprisingly transformed into one of your greatest professional assets. So utilize this skill set, utilize your athletic past, and allow it to be an asset in your professional season. All right, guys, so thanks so much for being here today. I really hope that this episode was a benefit to you. If you have any questions at all, feel free to send them down in the comments, or again, you can send us a DM on Instagram. Links down in the show description, but make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps us reach more and more people like you and me who need to hear it. But until next time, I will see you on the next episode of the Now What Podcast.